After being the worst wide receiver at the NFL Combine, Zach Adazical still went on to produce 73 touchdowns and over 7,500 yards in his 3 years in the NFL. But how was he back in college? Was he a bona fide stud back then, or did it take the right coaching staff in the NFL to bring him to where he's at right now? Well, we're about to find out as we start to play the college career of superstar wide receiver Zach Adazical from the Green Bay Packers. Now, obviously, we build this guy as a lazy wide receiver when we went through the Combine, which means that even if he does have the talent of an elite player, I still think at best he would have only been a 4-star receiver because, again, coaches don't want to deal with someone who doesn't want to go out there and actually work. But as a 4-star, 6'1 receiver coming into college, still think he's going to have his choice of colleges, not just the one that he ended up graduating from, which is San Diego State. So, question is, do we go San Diego State and stay there the whole time, or did he start at a different school? Now, since San Diego State probably isn't going to win a national championship any of the years that we're playing this, I think it might be smart to try to get that championship out of the way with a different school. So we definitely want to make sure that we compete for a national title. And needless to say, we want to see the field as a freshman as well. And if we do plan on winning, obviously we want a winning coaching staff. So if we have a coaching staff with decades of experience without being fired, I think that might be best. Now, obviously, being that 4-star athlete means that we're probably not going to be able to get in the top 3 of any of the depth charts here with schools that are 5-stars. So if we look down at the 4-star schools, looks like we have a chance to be 3rd string with Wisconsin, 1st with Iowa, but they don't have an offense ever really to speak of, so let's not go there. And it looks like 2nd string in a lot of other places. But as much as I don't want to stay in the Midwest because I'm originally from Chicago, I think we're going to have to go with Wisconsin. We'd be number 3 on the depth chart. They have a junior and senior above us. And we also run an air raid. I feel like that'd be really great for us. And you can tell how excited he is. Look at that glow around his chin. Now, since we were a 4-star, that means that we do get 4 skill points. And obviously, looking at things, the only thing we'd be able to put the skill points in right now would be IQ as well as route running. And as much as it'd be great to be a better route runner and have higher IQ, I think it might be worth it to wait for either the quickness or even potentially the hands or the power. So that means that we're not going to be spending the skill points here. That means that we're going to wait a little bit and see which one we really want to upgrade. Plus, being a 75 overall does mean that we're number 3 on the depth chart. For some reason, CJ Williams is a 76, I think with a tactician boost. But for some reason, he's not going above us. So that's great for us. That means that we're going to have some more opportunities than we would have if we would have been down in that 4-hole. And of course, we're going to be having Tyler Van Dyke slinging us the ball, who is a redshirt senior, who's an 84 overall with a 95 throw power and some pretty good accuracies, which means that as long as we're able to run the routes that we're supposed to run, he should be able to hit us. Now, since we are being thrust into a starting role here with Wisconsin in our first season, we really have to look at what we're looking forward to most this season. And again, since we are pretty lazy, we really don't care about playing for coach or playing with our teammates. It's pretty cool to play in front of the fans, but again, we're here to make a name for ourselves. We really don't care about anyone else. You saw how selfish we were in the first 2 seasons in the NFL, and obviously that carried over from college. It wasn't until season 3 where we really started to be a team player. So let's go out there, let's play for ourselves, let's make sure that we work out, get our skills up, and also make sure that at least we don't fail out of college. But despite the fact that we are playing for ourselves, that doesn't mean we're going to be a dick to everyone. So our offensive coordinator here, we're going to give him a polite answer. Obviously, we're very confident. We've shown in the NFL what we can do, but let's try to be nice and cordial here. That way we don't slip down the depth chart. And to make sure that we don't slip down the depth chart even more, let's make sure that we train quite a bit here, especially in this first week. And let's also recover. Now, we do have practice that we're going to end up doing, which is great. And because we're on a bye week, just because we have a little wear and tear, that isn't going to hurt us too much. So let's go into practice. Let's see if we can get some more coach trust, and let's see if we can climb up the depth chart. And despite the fact that we've done this route tree before in Madden, it does feel a little bit different. But that's not to say that we're not going to get a goal in this, because I have a lot of faith that we're going to be able to get some really good possession catches here and stay in bounds. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have already found this out, but if you guys are doing a wide receiver road to glory, then honestly, this is the best one to go with if you want to make sure that you get a gold, because you saw with 2 reps remaining, we had already gotten the gold, and that's just because we're getting catches in the 500. And thankfully, we have not gotten wrapped up on any of those kind of things to slow us down. So that allows us to get 22,000 points, get that plus 500 to coach trust. Now, since it was a bye week, that means that we have an extra week of being able to do our weekly agenda and also do a little bit of practice before we get into the game. I don't think that is going to be enough to be able to get us to a point where we're going to climb up the depth chart at all, but still, it's really nice to be able to get that and put us in the best scenario to be able to improve that. So let's end up getting a little bit of leadership in there as well as a little bit of a brand, because if we would have went with another training, our health wouldn't have been able to go all the way back up, and I do not want any wear and tear for this first game that we're going to end up playing in college. So let's get into practice one more time, and then let's get into this matchup against Western Michigan. And again, this kind of goes back to my point of, if you want to make sure that you get a gold, the route tree is definitely the one to go. Now, we are going to only do one game in this video. However, going forward, we're going to make sure that we end up doing 2 in every video. Now, if you guys want to see less or more games in a video, you guys let me know down in the comments. But for now, that's really what we're going to end up doing. So now we're going to end up getting this game against Western Michigan. Now, they're a 76 overall, and we're an 86, so that means realistically, we should have a pretty easy time here. But again, it's our first college game. How much are we actually going to get in? Either way, let's go out there and actually prove that we belong here in Wisconsin. Well, it looks like our first play is going to come on a 3rd and 1. I forgot about that. Forgot that we're not going to be in every single play like we were in Madden. So let's... Oh, get me... Dude, if he would have actually looked our way, we would have been wide open for a first down. We still got the first down, but I wish that could have went to us. Would have been our first college catch. Oh, thankfully, they do put us in pretty quickly, though. So 2nd and 10. Let's see if we can get our first catch. We don't. And well, I don't want to say that was a crucial block that we missed, per se, but still, we didn't really get a block there. And it looks like we're really only going to be relegated to, like, 3rd downs for the most part, until we move up the depth chart. There we go. And look at that, our first catch in college is actually a touchdown. Wow, why would Wisconsin ever want to get rid of us, right? Move us up to wide receiver 1, man. We deserve it. And how do we get rewarded? We don't get put in until the second half. So 2nd and 7. Let's see if we can get another reception. As we do, let's see if we can cut downfield. Nice little spin move when we get all the way down to the 30-yard line. Not a bad game for us, only being in for a couple plays. But thankfully, being up 27-0 means that we actually have a chance to get in the game a little bit more now. Garbage time, you gotta love it. 3rd and 4, though. Yep, they did not wait for us right there. But at least it was enough to be able to get a first down. But hey, we have 2 receptions already and a touchdown. All right, now we got a chance to actually score for a second time here. We just need to really focus on catching the ball. Don't take us off the field after that. Come on, coach. Then again, that just shows you, hey, we really need to take advantage of our time on the field when we have it, because now we don't get back on until about a minute left in the 4th, which is a little rough. But if we get a catch like that, that's going to be huge. Do we have the speed to get a touchdown? We do. That's 2 touchdowns in the first game. I swear to God, this is on Heisman. And there we go. Last shot of us just celebrating right there, as Van Dyke ends up getting player of the game with his 3 touchdowns, but 2 of them went to us, so who is really the player of the game? The fact that Van Dyke didn't have any mistakes, I mean, he was 66% completion, 204 with 3 touchdowns, but no interceptions. He had 2 on the ground for 3 yards. But aside from that, he didn't really do much. Look at us, man. I know we didn't have the most receptions, but we made the most out of the 3 that we had. We had 84 yards and 2 touchdowns in our college debut. Incredible, am I right? But again, we didn't have over 100 yards. He was perfect pretty much, minus obviously a couple incompletions, so I guess he deserves it. Quarterback bias. Now, I said before that we were only going to play 1 game this week, but I forgot about the fact that we're not really a starter right now, so we're not going to be playing the majority of the snaps in the game when we're on offense. So, realistically, we're probably going to play a couple games because we're not going to have a lot of plays to play. Oh, but first we have our academic advisor. Yeah, I know, we need to stay above a 2.0, but honestly, what I think we're going to end up doing is not really studying a ton, but anytime that we have like a study opportunity come up where we have a chance to do like a study session or whatever, we're going to take that and we're going to invest as much energy as possible. That way it's only a minor inconvenience to our energy for that 1 week than it would be for pretty much every week throughout the season. Now look at that, our first NIL offer too. I think we're going to take the deal. I'm plus 500 followers, not too bad for only 1 energy for 2 weeks. I think we'll take it. But now that we only have 4 energy for this, I think we're just going to train once. Let's make sure that we get our wear and tear back to basically normal. And then for the last one, honestly, let's try to work on the leadership, because that helps with the the team XP and everything like that. And we don't want to have the -8 to coach trust, you know. So let's make sure that we do that, and we really try to get in the good graces of coach. But let's get into practice quickly. Again, we're going to do something that we know that we can get a gold in, and that is going to be the route tree. So let's do that. Let's gain our coach trust. But yeah, with how consistent this practice actually is, again, like, hey, if you want 500 easy coach trust, this is the way to do it. And plus, once you have the gold, you can have some fun. Let's see how far he can heave this up down. Okay, never mind. I thought he was going to loft that a bit more, but he didn't. But still, 24,000 points. It's 500 coach trust. we take that all day. But thankfully with the gold, we are able to get into this game against FCS Northwest. Now this is a game we might actually see the field a little bit more, because again, we should be up pretty much this entire game. But again, we were in the last game against, what was that, Western Michigan? So who knows? And would you look at that? The first time we see the field is actually in the first quarter. So let's see what we can do right here. Oh my god, bro, you totally just chucked that up. And yeah, unfortunately that is going to drop. I thought that maybe it was going to make it there, but I didn't realize we're going to have to stop and try to jump for it. I'll just remember that our quarterback doesn't have the greatest arm, I guess. By the way, 3rd and 2, or 3rd and goal, I should say. Just hit me. Damn, we can't hold on to it. Yeah, we might not see the field until the second half now after that drop. Well, I was pretty close. But look at this, man. We're only up by a score against FCS Northwest. Bro, we need to get into the end zone right here. And let's see if we can be the ones to do it. This is a bit of a mismatch. And, oh, I thought he might have caught that off the ricochet. And unfortunately, that wasn't going to see us. We were pretty much covered up. And we're off the field again. Well, that was quick. All right, we got a shot here. We only got one timeout left, but 1st and goal, 14 seconds. Come on, hit me on the drag right here. We got this. There we go. Oh, don't slide, you. And if I would have known that that would have been our only opportunity to potentially score, I would have been a little more careful about it. I'll get used to it, though. But again, soon we'll end up becoming wide receiver 2, and we won't have to worry about it too much. And look at that. Our middle linebacker is the one who won player of the game. Just shows how great this offense was. But let's look at the stats quickly. I don't need to see this. I don't want to see me falling down short of the goal line. But yeah, obviously our offense didn't get a ton done. 168 in the air, 2 touchdowns. Thankfully, we did get a little bit on the ground. 2 touchdowns on the ground, but not a ton of yards. Unfortunately, we didn't see the ball much. We only had that 1 reception for 4 yards, which we could have actually gotten in the end zone. It's a little rough for us, but again, thankfully the defense came, and they actually decided to show up. Thankfully, we're getting up to wide receiver 2. Should be about 2 games, assuming we have 2 really good practices. We should be able to challenge for it. We do have our offensive coordinator talking to us here, though. I know we're still a freshman, but don't worry. We are going to have a big game. We need to win, haul on a 30-yard pass, and rack up 60 receiving yards. I'm totally okay with that, but if you don't put me in the game, how am I going to get those, right? We only went out for, what, 3 routes last game? How are we going to get that on just 3 routes? We might have to find a way, but... So right now, it looks like Coach wants to get some extra work in with us. And honestly, I kind of want to get off the line here. We want a 30-yard bomb, and if we're going to do that, we need to beat the press. So let's get off the line. Let's get that release. Let's see if we can raise that up just a little bit. We do. We have a +5 for this next game, so that's going to help us with our game day challenge. I'm really hoping that's going to be something great. Delaney? Oh, a party off campus? No, not this week. Coach wants us to do something important, and we're going to do it. We may be a lazy ass, but that also means that we're a lazy ass in our social life as well. We do have a huge game this week, though. Taking on number 5 Alabama, both of us 2-0 right now. But that just means that we're going to have to put a little bit there. I do realize we do have a -2 to a couple of our things. Should have thought about that because I forgot that we were also losing the 1 because of the NIL deal. So we're just going to have to deal with a little increased risk of injury and some lesser stats. Hoping that the +5 release will help out with that a little bit, but time will only tell. Let's get into practice. Let's see if we can get another gold, and let's see if we can actually take down Alabama. Thankfully, the gold was within sight, and that's going to allow us to just run down the field, and we're hoping that that's going to be us in this game against Alabama because that would allow us to beat that game day challenge. So let's go. Again, really tough matchup. Alabama's the number 5 team in the nation. Thankfully, we level up. We get an extra skill point, but again, I think we're actually going to save for that speed boost. As you see right there, we actually climb above wide receiver 2, which means that next week, I'm hoping we're actually going to be able to challenge for that wide receiver 2 spot. But again, we really got to focus on this game against Alabama. Now, thankfully, we climbed up to number 25, which is absolutely incredible. But they do have a hefty overall advantage over us. That's something that we had over our last 2 opponents, so it's going to be a tougher game. But if we can go out there and play the way that Zach played in the NFL, I think we're going to be fine. But we got to remember, this is him in college. So we actually get on the field in the first quarter, And we're going on a drag route, too. I'm hoping that this could actually be a good reception for us. Oh, well, he found someone a little deeper, and unfortunately could not hit him for a score. Or could not hit him for a reception, pardon me. Well, surprisingly enough, we're put in on a 2nd and 10. Didn't think this would happen. But they end up going for the screen to the other side of the field, and it does not see a lot of yards. As we are now 3rd and 7, and they take us off the field yet again. But yeah, you can definitely tell that we want to stay in the air for this game because we're getting put on the field in a lot of different situations. 1st and 10, almost in the red zone. There we go. Great catch. Hold on to it for a good 9 yards. We will take that as we get taken off the field. We need a deep reception. So I think this is going to be our opportunity to get a 30-yard gain. We just need to make sure that we get some good release, or got a good release, which we did not. And unfortunately, we are now 3rd and 8, and we're taken off the field yet again. But at least we have a 7-point lead, and we have a chance to be able to expand on that, because now with under 2 minutes left in the first half, we still got the ball. We're past midfield. We'd love to see that, as thankfully, we do not catch that, unfortunately. Thought he had it, but unfortunately, that last hit just jarred the ball loose. Oh, we didn't see the field for a little while, but at least we still have a lead, and we have a chance to score right here. There we go. All we had to do was just sit there. It's only 1 yard, but we got a touchdown. I don't think we're going to get that 30-yard reception. But again, at the very least, at least we put our team up by a little bit more on that. So I think this is going to be the last chance that we have to be able to get that 30-yard reception. So let's see if we can go blow past everybody. Come on. There we go. Is that going to be 30 yards? I think that is. That is a big play right there. Question is, does that help us break 60? It unfortunately does not, but it does allow us to get the win. So we completed 2 out of the 3 challenges, which means that Coach isn't going to be extremely happy with us, but at the very least, we still got the win, and we're 3-0. And Van Dyke actually had a pretty good game. 232 with 3 touchdowns and an interception. We actually had a little bit on the ground. Walker actually averaged 11. He had 4 for 44, which is great. But unfortunately, our lead back just couldn't really get it done. Only averaged 3 per carry, but at least he had a touchdown. That's great to see. And you see us right there. Yes, Williams had a better game than us. He had 2 scores. He had 51 yards. But hey, at least we got the ball, we had over a 30-yard reception, and we had a touchdown. That's something to be proud of. Or was it 5 catch? Okay, well, I don't remember exactly what the challenge was. I thought that I had the right thing, but apparently I wasn't. We do get the coach trust increase, which is great because we still had a really good game, and we got in the end zone, and we won. But still, it would have been nice to be able to actually complete that game day challenge. But at least that allows us to go into week 4, where I'm hoping that we're going to be able to actually challenge for wide receiver 2 so we can be on the field a little bit longer. Now, as you see, we do creep up above him. That's great, just by 1 point, yes, but we're still above him, which means that when we look here, we should end up getting that position battle for wide receiver 2. So let's go out there, let's see if we can win the position battle, and let's see if we can be the number 2 receiver for game number 4. And maybe this defensive tackle does not realize that we already have an NIL deal in place. So we'll give him a polite answer just to make him not feel bad. But thanks, man. I appreciate that. And this is what I was kind of talking about. When we have an opportunity like this to be able to study a lot or something, we're going to do that. I know it's going to be 3 energy, and that kind of sucks for being able to work out and do everything else. But honestly, for us to not have to end up going in to actually study from week to week might actually work out. I don't know if that's necessarily how it's going to work, but we'll find out by the end of the season. Now let's go. It is a bye week, but that means that we have a positional battle, baby. Let's see what we can do to get through this one. Let's see if we can become wide receiver 2. Now, unfortunately, this is not my favorite drill to end up doing, but we got the backfield survival. We need to get 1,500 points, which would be really great, but we just need to be smart about being elusive here, which we're doing a damn good job of. And as long as we get this one, we end up tying them. That's great. So all we have to do is probably get one more 500, which will be down here. And that'll be enough. Let's see if we can get it wrapped up here. We're going to injure our teammates. I'm sorry, buddy. All right, come on. Chase me over here. Chase me over here. Oh my gosh, he just glitched through that. Okay, he might catch us. Or not. Look at that. Look at that. Who is he going to beat us? Is he going to beat? Yeah, he's going to get us. But doesn't matter. We still ended up winning that one. So 1 out of 1. Let's go. We just need to win one more of these last 2, and we got it. We need to beat 2,000 points. I think we can do that with this nice little catch in the 400 territory right there. That is great to see. And honestly, we can come back and do the same. Or not. That's really bad. Okay. That was really bad on my part, but hey, we just need to make sure that we just try to juke him out a little bit. Now, we are going to have to probably start to do some cuts and stuff like that, but that's okay. As long as we're okay right here, we should be fine. We get that 400, and we already beat his score. Maybe we can get a gold here, which would actually be really awesome, but honestly, as long as we get that wide receiver 2, which we should pretty much be guaranteed at this point, then I'm going to be extremely happy. Oh, we actually get both of them for that? No shot. Okay, I did not realize that. That's something that's actually good to know. Can we get this on the sideline? We do. Why can't we catch like that in the game? So come on. Last ball. Let's get this 400. And we don't catch it. So it's only a silver, but again, we end up winning that one. And now let's embarrass him and show why we deserve to be wide receiver 2. And if not wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1 soon. As we end up letting that one get picked off right away. Good job, Zach. My guy. What a spin move right there. Thankfully, we keep upping that multiplier every time that we catch the ball. There we go. That might actually be a score if we had the power to barrel into the end zone. But we don't. And so now, we're going to have to catch that one across the middle. We need 2,000. 2,000 to be able to beat him. But realistically, that should be pretty easy. There we go, especially when we juke him out like that. And we get in the end zone. That is enough to beat him, but again, it is not enough to beat him. I want to embarrass him. So let's get beyond him. Let's go, and let's see if we can just run this score up. If we can get a gold, that'd be even better. As we get in the end zone yet again. We got ourselves a silver. We got 28 seconds. So no reason why we shouldn't be able to do it. As we get this one, I know we were supposed to go on a streak, but it's all right. To be able to get the gold like that, I'm going to be very happy. So let's hit me right here. Thank you. Something we can do in every game as well. If they end up going back into a zone, they leave some kind of little zone there kind of open. We can always just kind of camp right there and just hope that he's got the arm to hit us on it. Let's go. Nice that we can actually catch the ball. Now, if we could do that in a game, that'd be even better. Maybe it's just because we're facing our team, and they're not as talented as, say, Alabama. But, ooh. Nope, that gets picked. At least we have the gold. This is going to be the last play. Let's try to have a little bit of fun with it. Nope, that was not fun. That got picked off. But it doesn't matter. We still win the battle, and we are wide receiver 2 going forward for the rest of the season. At least until we catch up to the number 1 receiver. But we get 1,500 coach trust, and we're wide receiver number 2 going forward. So let's just go through the weekly agenda and practice for week 4. I think our next matchup is going to be in week 5, and I would assume that that might actually be a conference game. By the way, we do only have 2 energy. But again, we're on bye week, so let's actually do some training, and we'll make sure that we end up getting our wear and tear back to where it should be before the game actually starts next week. But let's get one more practice in. Let's see if we can actually catch up to wide receiver 1, and maybe before halfway through the season, we can actually challenge for that spot. And with that gold and 500 coach trust, how much closer does that get us to wide receiver number 1? I know he's actually kind of far down the timeline a little bit, but I'm really hoping that it actually gets us just a little bit closer. So let's look as we're up to 42.01, but it looks like wide receiver 1 is pretty far down the line. Now, he is a junior, so we'd have to compete with him next season as well. So let's see what we can do to get our coach trust up as quickly as possible to be able to get up to that 11,000. I think we have some really good games going forward as wide receiver 2. That trust is going to build, and we're going to be able to actually get to that spot before the end of the season. Hopefully, we can actually start season 2 there as well if we don't transfer out. But we'll definitely see. But I just want to advance the week. And let's see who we're going to be facing in week 5. As first, we got to talk to our academic advisor. And as you see, didn't study throughout the entire season, at least so far in the first couple of weeks. But we studied really hard during that kind of study period that she had allowed us to do. And it got us a B+, which means that thankfully for us, our GPA increases without having to study or waste any energy, minus that study session on all that. And our fan favorite gets activated as well, which is really cool. But yeah, It looks like we're going to be on the road in the next one against number 21 USC. Again, Big Ten matchup here, and we got two ranked teams going at it. And it's also our first game at wide receiver, too. But either way, it's going to be a really fun matchup. We just took down number 5 Alabama. Who's to say that we can't do it against USC as well?